Cater has two older sisters, and they are the reason he doesn't want to go home during winter vacations.
ホリデー関係なくこき使われるよ。俺、トレイ君家にホームステイに行きたいな。
構わないが、うちに来てもこき使うぞ。冬はケーキ屋が一番忙しい時期だからな。
あ、そっか。トレイ君家ってケーキ屋さんだっけ？逃げ場がない。とほほ。
Cater explains that his sisters force him to carry their shopping when they go out, make him buy them ice cream and have him do their hair.
出して買い出しにパシらされたり、買い物の予定を立てるにしても、俺が荷物持ちなのは決定事項。俺の意見は？って感じ。
Cater says his sisters are the reason he doesn't know what it's like to feel homesick. Cater explains that every present he has received from his sisters on his birthday was 100% their aesthetic. Plushies, dolls, perfume, soap. He does say, however, that they meant well. And lately, they've even started asking me what I'd like in advance. Cater says that when he has other plans he will refuse their requests, and when they go out shopping they will let him keep the change from their purchases and buy him food, but it is unclear if the family dynamic is legitimately improving or if he was just trying to lighten the mood so that his birthday interviewers do not become too concerned for his well-being. During the Firelit Sky event, for example, Trey insinuates that Cater has been driven half neurotic. Cater replies with, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Cater's sisters are also the reason behind his uncomfortable relationship with sweet foods. He explains that both his sisters and his mother went through a homemade sweets phase when he was 10, and they would pile them on his plate, even after he started having a hard time eating them. When he refused, they'd pressure him anyway, and he wasn't able to deny them. Cater says that he soldiered on and ate all he could, eventually ruining his taste for anything remotely sweet. This is a problem for present-day Cater, who lives in the Hartslobule dorm where sweets are mandatory at unbirthday parties, and whose hobby is going to cafes and ordering photogenic food for Magicam. We are given several hints that there is more depth to Cater's character that he wants people to know about. Tasked with infusing mandrakes with magic, Vil, Lilia and Cater agree to make mandrakes that are totally on brand for themselves. Cater's first attempt is an ultra-pink mandrake with big, round eyes. Vil expresses surprise, saying, "I never knew your tastes trended so feminine, Cater," but Cater insists that they don't. It is the influence of his two older sisters. In the Diamond household, everything's judged by one simple question, but is it cute? Day in and day out, no matter what I did, if it wasn't cute, it didn't cut the mustard. So I guess I've got make it cute burned into my brain as a first instinct. Cater's next mandrake has a deep crimson coloration with a card pattern that almost looks like it's holding a guitar, but his third mandrake is described as hugging its knees and huddling in place. Lilia comments, perhaps Cater's sunny disposition belies a morose side that the rest of us never see, but Cater insists that he is reading too much into it. Cater says, it just doesn't say KK if it's not happy enough to lift people's spirits. Cater describes himself as a party boy at heart, but he also has voice lines like, "Just between you and me, keeping a smile plastered on my face for hours on end at a party is exhausting. And, you wanna know more about me? I can't go giving away all my secrets." To the prefect Cater says, "Sometimes I've got no clue what's going through your head. What do you mean, pot, meat kettle?" There are occasional hints throughout the game that, while Cater is from the Shaftlands, his family moved often when he was a child. He is the only main cast member in Hartslobule who is not from the Queendom of Roses. We get the full story during Halloween, along with the reason why Cater is so attached to Magicam. At first we see Cater dealing with NRC's newfound Magicam fame. Experiencing a major bump in followers, Cater explains, "My notifications are blowing up hard with replies and DMs from old IRL acquaintances. And when I say old, I mean, like, elementary school old." One particular acquaintance seems especially persistent, even going so far as to call Cater directly, though he refuses to answer. While discussing the situation, Lilia receives a phone call from Sebek and answers immediately, interrupting the conversation, to Cater's surprise. Cater's plan to get the Magicam monsters away from Malleus works, and he witnesses Lilia reminding Malleus, "We may not be related by blood, but we are family." Cater silently reflects, Lilia's developed cherished relationships while living in the same place his whole life. There's no way he could ever understand how helpless I feel. This inner reflection is interrupted by another phone call, this one from Trey, that Cater answers immediately. The vignette ends with Cater saying, like always, we'll all probably go our separate ways in 4 years, but it seems that 4 years is actually a long time to be in the same location, for Cater. Cater explains that his dad works for a bank and his entire family would relocate whenever he was transferred to a new location, approximately once every 2 years. Cater explains, but for all the people I met, one thing never changed. I would always leave, and they would always stay. That's why I always tried to be on good terms with everyone, rather than forge strong bonds with a chosen few. Like a circus performer who has a grand old time with people from around the world, and then packs up and moves on. In that sense, Magicam's been seriously great because I can get messages from people I knew at school 3 years ago. I can have all the casual connections I can handle. And that's just my speed, right? During Wish Upon a Star we learn that Trey and Cater were roommates for their first 2 years at NRC, and we get a cryptic line from Trey of, you'd think he'd be open to sharing one of his actual wishes by now. Then again maybe he is, just not with me. There is a fan theory that this line ties back into Cater's decision to not get too close to anyone as, after 2 years rooming with Trey and being self-described best friends, he is closer to Trey than he has ever been to anyone else and is trying to keep a buffer zone between them, so as not to get any closer before they graduate and go their separate ways.